Hey guys, join me as I dive into the dark side of romance and try to uncover the craziest stories of love that led to murder. Before I start, did you know that nearly 30% of all homicides worldwide are committed by someone close to the victim? What happens when love, the most powerful emotion, turns deadly? Tonight we uncover a brutal crime where a father, blinded by his beliefs, committed the unthinkable, all in the name of honor and control. Love is supposed to be pure, but sometimes it takes a dark turn. When obsession, control, and societal pressure come into play, love can lead to betrayal and even murder. Throughout history, we've seen love drive people to extremes, from tragic Shakespearean tales to real-life horror stories. But this case is one of the most chilling ones yet. Today's case is the true story of one such family, where a murder was being scripted within the four walls of their home, unbeknownst to the outside world. The date was December 8, 2019 at 5:15 a.m. A man stepped out of Kalyan Junction railway station carrying a large, heavy black bag. For context, this railway station is located in Maharashtra's Thane District, one of India's largest commercial and industrial hubs. The city of Kalyan itself sits on the banks of the Ulhas River, which flows through Thane District. When the man exited the railway station at 5:15 a.m., dawn had just begun and the sun had yet to rise. However, since Kalyan Junction is a 24-hour operational railway station with trains arriving and departing constantly, it remains crowded at all hours. Because of this, numerous auto-rickshaws, especially at night, are always stationed outside the railway premises. In India, auto-rickshaws are a motorized version of manually pulled or cycle rickshaws and are informally operated by private owners. The man carrying the heavy black bag approached an auto-rickshaw driver named Khaled Maman outside the station and asked if he could drop him off at Goanaka. Although the distance from Kalyan Junction to Goanaka was only 3 miles, taking just 15 minutes to cover, Khaled immediately noticed a foul, unbearable stench coming from the man's black bag. This made him ask, "What's in your bag that smells so bad?" In response, the man said, "I have some rotten vegetables in my bag, which I'll throw into the Ulhas River on the way." However, the stench was so overpowering that Khaled refused to take him to Goanaka. The man then moved on to ask another auto-rickshaw driver nearby if he was willing to take him. But in doing so, he left his bag next to Khaled, as it was extremely heavy and difficult to carry. While waiting, Khaled began to wonder why this man had placed rotten vegetables in a perfectly good new bag. If they were truly just spoiled vegetables, wouldn't he have packed them in a plastic bag instead? Actually, Khaled was getting a smell from that bag similar to what you'd find in a butcher shop where meat is cut. Meanwhile, the man managed to convince another auto-rickshaw driver to take him to Goanaka. However, due to the foul smell coming from the bag, the driver agreed to the ride only for 180 Indian rupees, roughly $2. But according to some reports, the usual fare from Kalyan railway station to Goanaka is only 80 rupees, about $1. Khaled Man, who was standing nearby, overheard all of this and was surprised at how the man was willing to pay more than twice the normal fare. This made Khaled suspicious of the man, so he asked him to open the bag. Khaled also said, "If you show me what's inside the bag, I'll personally drop you off at Goanaka for free because no vegetable smells this bad." Hearing this, the man became a bit nervous and didn't respond to Khaled. Instead, he told the second auto-rickshaw driver to start driving. But after hearing Khaled's words, the second driver also found the man suspicious and refused to take him to Goanaka. By this time, a dramatic scene had unfolded outside the railway station. Khaled then said, "Either open the bag or I'll call the police right now." In response, the man boldly said, "My brother is in the police. I have nothing to worry about. Go ahead, call them." Hearing this, the auto rickshaw driver Khaled took out his phone and began dialing the police. But as soon as the man saw this, he panicked, abandoned his bag right there, and suddenly ran toward Kalyan railway station. After that, he was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, some auto rickshaw drivers standing outside the railway station called the police and informed them about the abandoned bag and the terrible smell coming from it. Immediately after the call, police officers from the Mahatma Phule Chowk police station arrived at the scene outside the railway station. Auto rickshaw driver Khaled informed them, "A man came to me with a foul-smelling bag, but when I asked him to open it, he ran away." Hearing this, the police became alert and first instructed the public to step back. Then, in front of everyone, the officers opened the black bag themselves. But as soon as the bag was unzipped, every person present, auto rickshaw drivers and police officers alike, felt chills run down their spines. It was likely the first time any of them had witnessed such a horrifying sight in their lives. Even some of the police officers were seeing something this gruesome for the first time in their careers. Actually, inside that bag was the lower half of a human body, severed human legs. However, from the very beginning, the police could tell from the physical characteristics of the dismembered body that it belonged to a woman. After this, the police immediately sent that body part to a nearby hospital, where an autopsy and DNA testing were to be conducted. But since the body had no face, it was extremely difficult to determine what the deceased woman might have looked like or what her facial features were. However, within a short time, the team of pathologists informed the police that the woman's body had been cut with a weapon that had sharp, serrated teeth. In fact, there were some scratches on the woman's thighs, and the area where her torso had been separated was also cut in a rough and uneven manner. Because of this, the pathologists suspected that a handsaw had been used to dismember her body. Meanwhile, the biggest challenge for the police was how to identify this unclaimed body. This led to a state of alarm within the police department. Recognizing the seriousness of the case, the crime branch also joined the investigation. The crime branch, also known as the Crime Investigation Department, is considered an essential unit of any state's or city's police department in India. Following this, the Kalyan police intensified their investigation and first decided to question the auto rickshaw drivers who had initially spotted the bag and called the police. The informant told the police that the man who had abandoned the black bag outside Kalyan railway station was the same man they had been searching for using CCTV footage and auto rickshaw drivers. He actually lived inside Sai Krupa Chal in Indira Nagar. This news shocked the officers because they realized that Sai Krupa Chal was very close to their current location. Without wasting any time, the police team immediately turned their vehicles toward the Chal. While researching this case, we discovered that in India, a Chal is a type of low-cost housing typically found in areas with high population density and limited living space. In fact, Chals are multi-story buildings with small single-room apartments, similar to micro-apartments in China. Anyway, the police arrived at Sai Krupa Chal, where they spotted a young girl studying in the 6th grade who lived there. She was around 13 to 14 years old. The police showed her a picture of the man in the red shirt and asked, "Do you recognize him? He might be living in this chal." Although the man's face was not clearly visible in the picture, the girl identified him based on his clothing and hairstyle, saying, This uncle looks like Arvind uncle. Upon hearing this, the police asked her where Arvind uncle lived. After getting his flat number, they reached his apartment in the Chawl. However, they found the door locked from the outside, which left the officers disappointed. Despite all their efforts, they still hadn't located the man. But instead of giving up, they decided to question Arvind's neighbors in the Chawl. During these conversations, the police also showed some of the neighbors' CCTV footage from the railway station. From this, they learned that the man's full name was Arvind Tiwari and that he worked as a manager at a transportation company called Pan Hans Logistics. However, after speaking with the neighbors a little longer, the police discovered that Arvind Tiwari had a daughter who lived with him, but she hadn't been seen in the past 2 to 3 days. This raised concerns for the police. Not only was Arvind missing with his house locked, but his daughter had also not been seen for days. As the pieces of the puzzle started coming together, their suspicions about Arvind deepened, and they grew increasingly worried about his daughter. Because of this, the police went to the transportation company where Arvind worked to look for him. Coincidentally, they found Arvind Tiwari there at the time. The first question the officers asked him upon seeing him was, "Arvind, where is your daughter?" The moment he heard this, a trace of tension appeared on his face, and the police immediately sensed that Arvind was hiding many secrets. Sensing this, the officers took Arvind to the Mahatma Phule police station for questioning, away from the rest of the company's employees. Even there, the police repeated their question, "Tell us, Arvind Tiwari, where is your daughter?" However, at first he continued lying, saying, "My daughter has gone to the village to meet her mom and sisters, but why do you keep asking me about her?" After hearing all this, the police realized that Arvind himself would not tell the truth. Because of this, they showed him the CCTV footage in which he was captured. When the police asked him about the black bag, he broke down. He then confessed his crime, admitting that he himself had killed his daughter with his own hands. The legs recovered from the bag belonged to his 22-year-old daughter, Princy Tiwari. After this, Arvind voluntarily told the entire story behind why he killed his daughter. Arvind Tiwari, 47 years old, was originally from Jaunpur, Uttar Pradesh, a city about 915 miles away from Kalyan, Maharashtra. Apart from him, his wife and 4 daughters also lived in Jaunpur, and Princy Tiwari was the eldest among them. In early 2016, Arvind moved from Jaunpur to Mumbai, the financial hub of Maharashtra, in search of work. Eventually, he settled in Sai Krupa Chawl, located in the Indira Nagar locality of Titwala town in Thane District. This meant that by December 2019, Arvind Tiwari had been living in Sai Krupa Chawl for almost 3 years. During this time, in June 2019, his eldest daughter, Princy Tiwari, completed her graduation and moved in with her father to pursue a better future. Princy had decided that she should get a job to financially support her father and the rest of the family. So within a few days of arriving, she began looking for a normal job in a local company. Soon, she found success and secured a small job at a private firm not far from home. However, about 2 to 3 months later, in October or November 2019, Princy informed her father that she was in love with a boy and wanted to marry him. Additionally, she told her father, "Dad, that boy works at the same place as I do, but he is more educated than me and holds a better position. I believe that if I marry him, he will take good care of me in the future." However, Arvind Tiwari was an old-fashioned man. One could call him a conservative father. When he found out that the boy his daughter wanted to marry was from a different caste, he outright refused the marriage. Princy, on the other hand, was adamant that she would marry only him, but her father Arvind was unwilling to accept this marriage. Arvind believed that if he married his daughter into another caste, people in society would say a lot of things against him. Besides, he still had to arrange the marriages of his 3 other daughters, and if Princy married outside their caste, it would create difficulties for their marriages as well. Now, with Princy insisting on marrying the same guy and her father Arvind being equally adamant about stopping the marriage, arguments between father and daughter started happening frequently. On the evening of December 6, 2019, after both Arvind and Princy returned home from work, another argument broke out. However, this time, the argument escalated so much that, in anger, Princy consumed rat poison liquid, causing her to lose consciousness immediately. At this point, it is unclear whether Princy consumed the rat poison herself or if Arvind, exerting control over her, deliberately made her drink it. In fact, the police believe that Arvind had mixed the poison into his daughter's food, and as soon as Princy ate it, she lost consciousness. However, Arvind Tiwari repeatedly tried to prove to the police that his daughter Princy Tiwari had consumed the poison on her own. But the question remained, if Arvind was telling the truth, then why didn't he immediately take his daughter to a nearby hospital or doctor? The reality was that Princy remained unconscious in the house all night, and instead of helping her, Arvind left her in that condition and went to sleep. The next morning, on December 7th, when Arvind woke up, he saw that his daughter was no longer breathing and had died from consuming the poison. Seeing this, Arvind panicked and made the sinister decision to dismember his daughter's body and dispose of it in far-off areas or rivers. His reasoning was that if he did this, the police would not be able to collect Princy's body and he would never be caught. What are your thoughts on this case? Was this an act of twisted love or cold-blooded murder? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this story chilling, check out our video on horrifying murder of Ashley Wadsworth, where love once again led to a deadly end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories.